Lucky me. I have received a commission to paint 12 little mini paintings from someone who wanted to buy them. These are little 4x6 paintings that I often paint. And some of them are going to be, or most of them actually, are going to be with the traditional, not traditional, but my signature background, which I'm going to show you how to make right now. First, I painted the paper yellow, which is the background color that I use. And you can see on some of them, the cats walked across them with their dirty feet. But I don't really care. So now I'm going to use this, which you may think is toilet paper. But actually, it's art supplies. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to spread it across. So that there's some hanging off the edge. And cover each piece of watercolor paper. Now this is single ply. It's the cheap stuff. The best the best kind is, you know, the cheap stuff that you find in the porta potties. But yeah, double ply and all that stuff doesn't work very well because the paint doesn't go through. All right. So it's overlapping just a little bit. And we've got it all covered. Okay. I'm using 4 colors to make this background. And I've mixed up some of the paints already. There's burnt umber, sepia, burnt sienna, and I'm going to use cobalt turquoise. So as I said, I've mixed up some of them already, so I won't take so much time to do this. But you mix them up in your little bathroom cup and just kind of put a dab of paint in the cup. And then you add some water. So you're going to mix the paint real thin so it'll go through the toilet paper. I mean art supplies. And I'm using what's called a mop brush. Just a big old fat brush. Mix it up so there's no dabs of paint. It's all dissolved in the water. And then I'm going to dab it onto the little pieces of paper, and let it soak through. Now, I'll be dabbing more than I usually dab on this particular one because there's 12 separate little canvases rather than one big piece of paper. Well, they're not canvas, they're piece of paper. So I want a little bit of this color on each one. All in different places. Let it soak in. You can touch it, the toilet paper, but don't dab too much. Okay, we're just going to use a little. Then I'm going to wash the brush. I'm going to take the next color, which is the burnt sienna, already mixed. And I'm going to put some of that on. And don't forget to overlap what you've already painted on there. Otherwise you get all these little yellow spots. Yellow spots being the background color that I've already painted on there. Next, I'm going to do the burnt umber, and I didn't even bother to wash the brush. Just mix it up in there. All these browns go together pretty well. Now remember, you've only got one more color to go, which is the sepia. So anything that you don't want to be sepia, you fill up with this color. Wow, that one's already full. Whatever. Get it good and soaking wet. Okay, and the last color I'm going to use is the darkest. It's sepia. So I'll fill in everywhere that I haven't got paint on yet with the sepia. After you put these colors on, you let it dry for a while. Depending on the temperature and the humidity, you can let it dry for an hour, you can let it dry for half an hour. If it's in the middle of summer and you're outdoors, it'll take about 15 minutes, at least in Texas, where I am. And then you're going to pull the toilet paper off. If you wait till it gets completely dry, you can't get it off. Forget it. If you don't wait long enough, you're going to lose the textural effects that are the purpose of using it in the first place. So you kind of have to pull up a little sample of it and see if the textural lines stay. If they don't stay, if the watercolor just runs, then it's not, you let it dry some more. And you just leave it until you can pull it up and there's no, and it doesn't run, but it's not completely dry. Okay, now we're gonna let it dry. Okay, it's time to take the paper off. It's so cold and humid today. I've had to leave it for about 3 hours. Okay. That isn't doing so well. Alrighty. I just pull it off. layer by layer. And sometimes it comes right off. Sometimes it takes a little more rolling up to get it off. There you go. That's the backgrounds. Now you have to let those fully dry before you can paint on top of them. But you see what it does? It makes all these great lines. These looks like texture. Here's what these little papers look like after they're dry. Little backgrounds for my paintings. Oops, didn't get all the art supplies off that one. I've been asked for one painting of a Longhorn, so I'm going to show you how to do that. This is a watercolor pen. Statler Mars Graphic 3000 Duo. And we will see if it has ink in it still. First, I'm going to draw an outline of the Longhorn with the watercolor pen. The nice thing about these pens is when you put water on them, they behave just like watercolors. In other words, they blend in. This is horns, not exactly even, but who cares? His face. Uh-oh. The cat has decided to get into the video. Oh. Thank you very much, Slick. On the floor, please. Okay, there's an outline of Longhorn. I like to paint my Longhorns with turquoise horns. Well, it's just something I do. That's how I do it. And you'll see what I mean by that outline blending in when I put the paint on there. I haven't got enough paint on it. Okay. And then I usually use burnt sienna or Indian red for the body. Sometimes I use a different color for the head than I do for the rest of the body. In this case, I think I'm going to just use the same color, which is Indian red. You can see the head. Take a little bit of black and put in the eyes while the paint is still wet, because I like those eyes to, well, not enough paint on there. I like those eyes to kind of flow out. I like the black paint to flow into the wet burnt sienna. So they're not, there's no hard edges on them. Okay. Then I'll paint the rest of the Longhorn. There's the question. Should I try burnt sienna? I have the head Indian red. No, I think I'll make the whole Longhorn Indian red. I just paint right over the black watercolor pen, and it blends into the paint. The Longhorn is standing in weeds, grass, whatever. So I'm not going to paint the hooves. I'll put the grass in after I'm finished with this. So this cow is just kind of standing there looking at you. Okay, there we go. And the last thing to finish it off, I'm going to put a little bit of yucca and some weeds in there maybe. dots of the black. Just kind of, I don't know what they do. Solidify the painting. Make it look like there's actual ground there. Although it's perhaps, I don't know, a painting on the wall of a cave. That's all there is to that. Actually, longhorns are very easy to draw. Very few lines. So, happy painting, happy trails.